if you want a solid business model, revenue model for the practice, you want a membership program and subscription revenue, because that's going to increase the value of the practice on a valuations perspective.
Yeah.
And it's going to give you peace of mind. Once you build a good base of recurring revenue, you get $50,000-$60,000 coming in, and you're sleeping good at night. During September.
Hey everybody, what's up? This is Go Live with Joshua Scott. I'm your host. This is episode 28, first episode of the new year. Thanks so much for joining. And man, it's my pleasure to have Jordan Comstock on the show today with Boom Cloud. Jordan, say what's up to everybody, man.
What up, everybody?
Oh man, yeah, dude, I'm so glad that you could make this happen. I know you're out in Utah. You're a couple hours behind me for sure.
Yeah.
Probably have an amazing view out of your office there, maybe.
Well, if you want to look at all the dental tech companies, then yes, it's an amazing view. But right now I'm just looking at dead trees, I guess, because it's winter, right?
Yeah.
And it's gonna snow today, and I hate the snow, so I'm not too excited.
You hate the snow?
I hate the snow. I hate the snow.
Bro.
Yeah. I live in Utah. I hate the snow. I don't go snowboarding. Don't go skiing. I do like camping though, so I go out in the RV and I go southern Utah where it's nice and warm.
Yeah. Well, and that's an area I've always wanted to go. Is it was it like St. George kind of?
St. George, yeah. There's like Moab, St. George. Moab is probably more popular, but St. George is amazing.
Yeah.
So if you're ever in Utah and you hate the cold like me, go down to St. George. It's nice down there.
Well, that's awesome. No, I feel like sometimes I get these Utah guests on and they're like, oh yeah, they turn the computer around and it's like mountains and and all that. So
I do. In this office, I don't. I have just buildings outside this window. At my office, there's tech companies and mountains.
Nice.
So
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, thanks so much for being on the show. For those of you who don't know, Jordan, founder and CEO of Boom Cloud. So why don't we just start with that, man? Give me kind of your go-to introduction, just so everybody gets to know you a little bit, and then we'll jump into it.
Yeah, man. So I've been in the dental industry for over 15 years. I pretty much grew up in dentistry.
Okay.
My mom and dad, my mom's an office manager. My dad owns a dental lab. And that the dental lab side is kind of where I grew up on mostly, because my dad would bring home denture cases and work with them at home.
Nice.
And I always thought it was weird. I'm like, man, this dude's bringing in other people's teeth at their house, because he had part of our garage. He had some lab equipment. When he got crazy busy, he would bring his work home sometimes and finish dentures at home. So I grew up doing that and learning dentistry from a lab perspective. And I eventually managed the dental lab for about 8 years. And that's how I really got my hands into dentistry. But I didn't like the clinical side as much. I loved running my dad's business.
Okay.
And my dad, he at the time didn't have a website, and it always bothered me. And he didn't want to pay for a website, so I started learning technology through building the dental lab's website, right? And I soon realized that I love building technology and getting into that, and went to school, while managing the dental lab, went to school and learned web development and web marketing. I don't do any of those. I just did them so I could talk to developers and online marketers, right? So that was my main goal there. And I always knew growing up, my mom, being an office manager, she worked from home most of my childhood. So I heard pretty much every phone call she had with insurance companies, and they all sucked. Right. So just growing up in that mindset, I grew up with dentistry. I knew that insurance was a big problem. And when I, was managed the dental lab, a lot of our clients at the dental lab would come and vent to us about dental insurance. I'm like, man, there's got to be a better way. This is a joke. From a business partnership perspective, when a dental practice partners with a PPO, it's kind of a joke if you ask me, because an insurance company attacks three critical components of a dental practice: the profit margins, the cash flow, and the patient experience, right? Three really important things in a dental practice. And in any business really. And the working with dental insurance companies affect that. So growing up, hearing, my mom on those calls and hearing that our dental friends vent to us about working with dental insurance, I always ask myself, there's got to be a better way. And one day I walked into one of our clients at the dental lab that had uh, multiple locations. I think they had like 10 locations
Okay.
here in Utah. And I noticed something interesting. They put up a sign, in their office that said "Join our membership program." And this is maybe 2013. Nobody was talking about these things
Yeah.
then. And I was really intrigued because prior to seeing them with that sign in their office, I read a book called The Automatic Customer. I don't know if you've read that book, but I highly recommend it for everyone listening, dental practice owners, office managers, just any business owner. It talks about the power of recurring revenue in any business, right? And it intrigued me that this multi-location dental offices was trying to cut out PPOs by offering their own membership program. And I simply asked them how they were managing it. They pulled out a little binder. They pulled out a binder, right? And I'm like, no way, you're managing with a binder? And I started, noticing a few other practices doing it here in Utah. And I asked them the same thing. They pulled out their little binders, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to build something here in the industry. And I got a few people, in the dental space here, some of our clients at the lab, collaborating with me and helping me build it in the early days. And that was 2014, 2015 is when I left the dental lab with no income whatsoever, and I just built Boom Cloud for about a year and a half with no income, no support. I just had to figure it out and hustle. And sure, here we are today, have a company with a handful of employees and practices across the nation. But that's kind of my quick story of how I started Boom Cloud and my background in dentistry.
Yeah, gosh, man, love that.
Yeah.
We started 2014 as well. So
Nice.
so it was right around that time. But yeah,
Yeah.
so many just companies I run across. I mean, right in that time frame, I think there was something about that 2014, 2016 period.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I know the hardest thing for me was just recruiting people to believe in the vision, because I remember people looking at me like, that's not gonna work in dentistry, and I'm like, no,
Yeah,
dude, I think it is, right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a lot of people doubting you in the early days, and you had to get. I remember having to get through that. So I don't know if you experienced the same thing, starting your company, but
I did,
a lot
but
of that.
probably in a different way because you're in Utah, and so a lot of people are familiar with the dental industry.
Sure.
And so
Yeah.
they're like, "Yes, we know dental, but that may not work." In Columbus, Ohio, I'm like, "So dental marketing," and they're like, "Is this even a thing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Our recruiting process is sometimes it's just overcoming. I'm like, okay, so I know you think it's dentistry. Hear me out. Like, let me talk about it, in a way that I think is going to be compelling. But yeah, it's fun. Well, give me a little. So
That's
talk
awesome.
to me about in-house membership plans a little bit. Like why, like the importance to a dental practice and what you guys are solving there.
Yeah, so I think in regards to dental practice, why they would want to create a membership program, there's a few reasons why. The number one reason I like to talk about is generating predictable recurring revenue for the practice. The biggest issue in any business is cash flow management, cash flow strategies, whatever you want to say there. Um, and what I said earlier about what dental insurance does the practice is that it hurts their cash flow stream, because claims get denied or delayed, and there's a lot of issues there, with cash flow. And I think from managing a dental lab to a SaaS company, I've got a lot of experience managing cash flow and the importance of it. The dental lab followed the trends of a dental office, right? And I usually say those trends became a feast and famine trend, right? And often there's what most people in the industry call sucktember, is what I hear. I don't
Yeah.
know if you hear that,
Oh yeah.
sucktember, or just COVID sucks, right? Last year. So you got September and you got weird months like that where, the revenue in the practice goes down, right? And that's something you want to avoid at all costs in any type of business. So a membership program, when done right and when grown right, can provide a stable revenue stream for the practice owner, whether they do dentistry or not, or whether they have huge volume or not, right? So that's the first thing. It gives a practice a cash flow foundation, or even a passive income foundation, if some people call it. The second thing it does is members buy more. Are you a member of Amazon Prime?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I am too, and I spend tons of money with Amazon.
Right.
I think I get like a daily package on the porch, or you know what? My wife gets the daily package. I don't. I just see that. Okay, that's it, right? Okay. Okay. All right. So you can look at Amazon, right? So Amazon and many other companies, Walmart just released their own membership program. I don't know if you're aware of that. And there's so many other companies doing membership programs, big and small. And the reason why they're doing these things, these membership programs, is because members simply buy more, right? And if you look at Amazon, if you're a Prime member, you spend 2 times more with Amazon than a non-Prime member. So inside of dentistry, it's the same thing. We've seen here at Boom Cloud, we look at all of our practices and tap into their data, and we found that patient members spend 2 to 3.5 times more with the practice when they become a member. So it helps with the cash flow stream, right? Or recurring revenue strategy, however you want to call it. And then it's an revenue expansion strategy, where those existing members and maybe even new patients that are uninsured that join the membership program come in, they spend the recurring revenue with the practice automatically, and then they end up spending more. So it's a wonderful expansion strategy for the practice. So those are the 2 revenue components of the reasons why a practice would want to do this. And then the third one is creating a patient loyalty. Being in dentistry as long as I've been in, often patients like the hometown feel dentistry, right? They don't want to feel like they're being shipped in and shipped out, and it's definitely a relationship-based, service-based industry, and the membership program helps with that. In addition, those practices that have too many contracts with bad PPOs, which is all of them, PPO speaking. A lot of practices want to reduce dependence on PPOs, and implementing a membership program is that initial step to do that, right? To cut out the PPOs, cut out the worst paying PPOs, and start going up and converting the patients over, right? So that's a lot of practices will do that, and it's one of the main reasons they come to Boom Cloud is because they're sick and tired of the PPOs, they're sick and tired of getting ripped off and not being in control of those three things: profit margins, cash flow, and the patient experience. So I would say that those are the reasons why a practice should implement a membership program in regards to using a technology to manage and grow their membership program. You want systems help you scale, and a membership program, you're not going to have a ton of success with 20, 30, 40, 50 patients. You want hundreds to even a few thousand patients, and that can be done. We have many practices that generate $50,000 to $60,000 in monthly recurring revenue just from membership fees alone. That's not counting treatment revenue from treatment. So you can get there. It's going to take time. It's definitely a long-term strategy, but it's well worth the effort, in my opinion, and based off of practices talking to us. So
I hadn't even really thought about the whole membership and members spend more type concept, which I think is brilliant, because it's totally true. I mean, we have packages almost daily showing up here, and I'm just to the point now where it's like I think of something, I'm like, just find it on Amazon, hit buy, and
hit the buy now, right? The quick buy. And on that note, right? And I'm sure you may know the stats. I don't know these stats in dentistry, but it simply costs more to acquire new customers, right?
Right.
It costs more to acquire new patients, new customers. So enhancing, implementing a membership program in the practice to existing patients and focusing on them, and then going out and finding new patients that can join the membership program is the second step, but it's cheaper to work with your existing patient base and expand it from there versus solely focusing on new customers. Now, I think you need to do both. Sign up existing patients to the membership program, uninsured patients to come in and up as new patients. I mean, that's ideal practice, but it's just simply cheaper to offer this to existing patients, especially the existing uninsured patients, getting them in, getting that revenue stream coming in on a regular basis, and then expanding the revenue from that customer segment or patient segment.
I love that you said that, because I think my take on dental practices as a whole is it becomes very dependent on that new patient flow, and which is new customer acquisition, which is your more expensive of the two. And and I think the state of kind of where we're in post COVID, and a lot of people have called this like, I think technically we're in a recession, but dentistry has bounced back and it's doing well. But we all kind of have this sense of like we could be entering into a bear market after the longest bull market run. And
Sure.
tactics, but like the business tactics of a bear market or a recession or a contraction are different, and it becomes focused on retention and eliminating attrition and focusing on your patient experience. And dental practices are, sitting on 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000 patients. Sure. Reactivating some of those, providing a better patient experience, you could have a ton of growth just right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's always the first start, but I say never stop there. You focus on that and focus on new customer acquisition. We do the same thing here at BoomCloud, right? We focus on our existing customer base and expanding that revenue or increasing that average revenue per user, or in a dental practices language, increasing the average revenue per patient, right? So we focus on those things a lot here too, right? With existing customers, but then you got to have that new customer acquisition funnel working for the practice. Or I mean, this is all universal business stuff. We can take this conversation and apply it to pretty much any business. But specifically, dentistry, I think people do get hung up on only new acquisition or only focusing on their existing patients. Both should be focused on, I think, and there should be systems for focusing on, delighting and increasing revenue from your existing patients and acquiring new patients. So that's just my thought, though.
Like it. Now I know, gosh, I feel like I see this a lot in fee-for-service practices that provide this, but I know you also make a case for PPO-based practices to start to get some of that independence or freedom from insurance companies. So do you guys work more with one or the other, or kind of what's your take on that?
I'd say the majority of the market are people that have a lot of PPO contracts, and they're starting to reduce them. We do work with a great amount of fee-for-service offices. A lot of the times their mindset is, well, I'm already getting full fee with my fee-for-service patients. Why should I do a membership program and add a discount, right? And obviously that makes sense when they say that, but what they're not seeing the big picture a lot of times is, yes, there's a slight discount in a membership plan, but that patient's going to end up spending more than they would if they were a non-member, right? And that's what a lot of fee-for-service practices have a hard time seeing, is that these members become more loyal and they start spending more with the office. Whereas a PPO office is thinking, oh, if we do this membership program, we're increasing our profit margins by 20 to 30% just by cutting out PPOs and moving towards this model, right? It's a little bit harder for a fee-for-service practice to see revenue expansion or understand revenue expansion with a membership program for some reason. I don't know why. I think that's just the nature of that mindset of practice owner. But I also think, when if there is a fee-for-service office, that's the most potential. They have the best potential in growing a healthy membership program. Right. And I think what a lot of fee-for-service offices maybe don't see is the benefits of recurring revenue, right? they don't have a recurring revenue stream. They make money by, having hands in the mouth all the time. And if they simply start to see, yeah, we have this segment of our patients that are uninsured or even at a network, because a membership program works really well with fee for service offices that are out of network. They're going to create that predictable recurring revenue stream. And I don't know or how you guys operate, but if you've managed a predictable recurring revenue model for any business and you've managed a transactional model, you're going to prefer the recurring revenue model because it's a lot easier to manage that business, to manage payroll. A lot of times practice owners will their goal is to get their recurring revenue from their membership fee to cover all their overhead and costs of doing business, payroll and things like that, and structuring it in a way where that membership revenue comes in on like the 1st and the 15th of each month, and they get cash infusions to pay for payroll or rent or lease, whatever however their building structure is. But I think with the fee for service only practices, they truly benefit when creating a membership program if they understand that expansion component. So, but
There's a reason why everybody has a monthly payment, because it's recurring revenue for sure.
yeah. Well, and if you think about it, we are in the subscription economy, and we have been for years. We pay subscriptions for Netflix. I pay for a subscription to the car wash just down the street from my house because
Yeah.
I like a clean car. And right, I pay a subscription for I use DoorDash because I'm really lazy and I don't like picking up my food. I want the food to come to me, right?
Yep.
I pay $10 a month to get discounts on the deliveries for DoorDash. But we live in a subscription economy, and the reason why it works is consumers are more budget focused, right? And when you can lay out a simple plan for them and say, yeah, it's $30 a month, and you get this, and this, and you get discount on X, and it's super simple and budget friendly, it's gonna have success, right? I think that's why you see these successes of like Amazon Prime and Netflix and the subscription economy is because it's a number one no-brainer, and it's easy for the consumer to understand. So
Yeah.
that's another interesting, I guess, topic.
Yeah, no, it is, man. I just sat down the other night because I was thinking through all my television, like movie streaming services, and I actually had to get like this whole spreadsheet out and go, okay, like here's everything we have and the cost per month. Here's the things we want or what I could move to or transition to. Sure. And there's like 6 or 7 things now. It's like then like Disney bundling, with like Hulu and ESPN Plus. I'm like, well, that might be a good option. And but we're not watching Apple Plus, so it's canceled. And it's crazy. I'm like, just subscriptions on streaming is
and if you think about it too on like a mindset perspective, all those costs are under the radar.
Yeah.
Costs, and a dental membership program falls in that category too, where they're under the radar expenses for the consumer, where it's not painful for them, right? Because the average monthly membership program is like it's about $30 a month per patient. So that falls under the category of under the radar payments, right, to the consumer, where it doesn't feel like a huge burden to them to sign up and enroll for that type of membership program, which is a good thing, right? Because it's a good thing for retention to the membership program, and it's a good thing for on the practice standpoint of that continuing that revenue coming in on at scale with multiple patients.
Yeah. So you start managing your dad's lab and step out into this space. Did you always know you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Or did you just kind of happen?
First business was a lawn mowing business, like every 12-year-old should be doing, I think. But so I have a twin brother. I have a twin brother. He's here at Boom Cloud. He's over our customer success team. And we started a little lawn mowing business, and we made a trailer that attached to our bike, and we had a logo and our phone number on the side of that little bike trailer. And it was unique enough in our neighborhood growing up where people were talking about it, and it was done by design, to get people looking at, be like, what is that trailer hooked to a bike for? They see me and my brother, pedaling our bikes with a little lawnmower trailer behind our bike with our phone number and our logo on it. But that was the first business. And then I actually started a band in high school, and we created an album. I'm a huge guitar player, and huge music fan. started a band in high school. We created an album and did shows and sold that. That was, I guess, my second business, which I love the music industry, but I think it's a horrible industry. It sucks on a business model standpoint. It sucks, but it's great. I got a lot of experience managing, that there, and then obviously my I wanted to take over the dental lab, but like I said, I fell in love with technology and the software industry. Um, combined with the dental industry,
Yeah.
and that's kind of where my path led. But yeah, I've always been entrepreneurial. I think my entire family is been real entrepreneurial, and we kind of learned it that way. And I've always loved creating and uh, building businesses. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
one of my passions.
What's been your favorite part about leading an organization?
I think um, I think I love building our team culture here at Boom Cloud, and I think every business should focus on culture, including dental offices. Um, for example, we have we I bought 5 guitars here, and
Okay.
5 guitars each, and we got them custom painted with our favorite bands on them, and each guitar has 2 core values of our company here, and it's how we hire and fire people, right?
Yeah.
And mainly hire, because if we do it right, we don't need to fire people,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's been the biggest uh, surprise to me, managing a company, is really being attracted to creating company culture and helping our employees see my vision and be excited to come to work every day. Because when I was at the dental lab, it kind of was a grind, no pun intended.
Mhm.
Um, it was a real grind at the dental lab, and there was a lot of days where I just didn't want to go and work. And I at that, I was in my early 20s, and I'm like, man, I never want to have that feeling again, and I never want to make an employee that becomes, part of my team, feel that way, and come in. And we culture, to me, I think, has been the most exciting part. And then also uh, hiring the right people come in that are better and more and better than and smarter than me on
Yeah.
certain topics, and allowing them to get things done, because I have weaknesses and things like that, and in regards to managing companies. And I think bringing those people in, I feel stronger having certain people in. So to me, it's all culture and people right now, at this stage at least.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know
Gosh, I identify with that. I think one of my just proudest, moments as a business owner is just watching team members surpass, just my competence, taking
yeah,
over areas and just killing. In the beginning, it's like I basically build everything, for the most part, like all the
yeah.
systems, and then somebody comes over and they take it over, and they actually know more about it than I do now, and make it.
Yeah, like a lot of my sales team knows the product better than me now, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
it does that.
Oh,
I need to learn that. No,
yeah.
I'm not that blind, but they know a lot about our product and our customer base and how to serve our customers, and that's been good, because I mean, are you guys bootstrapped? Do you guys customer funded, or did you get some funding?
No, no funding.
So we're bootstrapped. We're customer funded, and for those listening, customer funding is exactly what it says. Funded by customers. So in our case, funded by dental practices, which I think is the best way to grow a business. It's also the hardest and most challenging, in my opinion.
Yep.
But there's a lot of benefits to that, because we're able to focus solely on the customer. We don't have to focus on the board and investors and what they want. We focus on our customers and what they want, right? Which is fun. But I think in the early days of Boom Cloud, I did everything just like you. Um, everything. I don't know how I did that. I look back, I'm like, man, having the team now, I don't know if I could do that again. I mean, maybe I could, but it
Yeah.
seems really hard, and I think I was not educated on what that really meant to start a business from scratch.
Right.
Kind of foolish, and I just went for it. Now I'm like, man, that was hard, but
Yeah.
I think, yeah, building that team and I think as a practice owner, all the practice owners listening, I think understanding and building culture in your dental practice is super important. You're gonna love coming to work every day with and being with the people around you, which I think is extremely important because it can really zap your energy if you've got bad people or people you don't like to be around. And you don't want to zap your energy. It causes more damage than you think. I've been there. I've had people in the past that just zap my energy because they just were not a fit culture wise to Boom Cloud. And practices are the same boat. I was talking to my mom the other day. She was dealing with some issues in their dental practice. And I'm like, man, if you guys understood your culture and what type of person, what type of person to attract, you're going to have less problems and it's going to be more enjoyable. Right. And I think that is beneficial in all parts. Coming back to like dental membership programs, you're going to find more office managers that are super passionate about helping you grow your membership program or whatever it may be, your implant services or Invisalign or whatever it may be, right? Whatever you're passionate about, you're going to find more people that are passionate and then truly, are starting to row in your same direction and help you build your practice. And it's an ecosystem. And I think people are the start of it. So that's kind of my mindset there, Josh.
Yeah. Yeah. What about the hardest part? Like right now, like what's the hardest thing you guys are dealing with and facing just currently being an owner?
Well, it's I think the hardest thing and the most exciting thing is people.
Yeah.
Or the most exciting thing is people, and the hardest thing is also people,
Yeah.
right? Managing people and process. We're a growing company and we're scaling, and I feel like I'm always selling on new waters here, right? It's never the same thing, and we're always trying to figure out situations and problem solve, right? I
Yeah.
think that's the most challenging thing for us right now, is just selling those new waters, and what we've done to kind of resolve that is hire consultants and advisors to help guide us that have been there, done that. In some are in the dentistry, grown dental technology companies. Some have grown dental companies,
Yeah.
practices, and some have been just solely in the software industry that advise us. And I think that's the hardest thing, but there's always a solution to any problem, in my opinion. And that's kind of our solution is bringing on these advisors and consultants to direct us, because I have a young team here, and nobody's built a company before. Well, I mean, they've had some attempts, but failed attempts before this, myself included.
Yeah.
But I think that even on a dental practice perspective, it's very important to have some type of advisor or consultant that can help you solve any type of problem or challenge in the business. And I'm all for that. And I think that is one of the best investments we put into here at Boom Cloud into our leadership team, is consulting and advising. And I think, we're both friends with a lot of consultants in the industry, and there's a lot of really great consultants out there that I think, practice owners, tying it back to dental office and practice owners, that it's really important for you as a dentist, a practice owner, even an office manager, to find those type of consultants that can really help take the practice to the next level, or even fix some of the challenges that you may have. Because let's be honest, every business has challenges at every stage and every time it exists. And having those people that kind of look in and help solve problems from a different perspective, I think is so valuable. So I think that's kind of on the challenging standpoint of where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's really good to have those advisors kind of looking in and be like, oh yeah, I didn't even see it that way. Because I'm as a business owner and founder, my head's kind of in the trenches all the time, and sometimes it's nice to stop a little bit and have somebody help me look around and see what's going on, right? So
Yeah.
that, I think that's so valuable for any business owner. So there you go. There's my insight there.
No, I love it. I think, I think for me, you're 100% right. And honestly, the last November, December, January, just my head's just been in, we call it our talent team instead of HR. It's like our talent.
Nice. Yeah.
But just
I like that.
have spent a ton of time in that. Like you guys just had some growth last year. But these first 3 Mondays of the year, I have a business partner, and we get together at the end of the day on Monday, and it's just been like every Monday is like big puzzle piece that we have to solve, and there's just
Yeah.
like new stuff, and I think in the beginning that would stress me out. And I took because everything was so personal, but now I've just
Yeah.
become, so much more objective. And I'm like, you really can't win or lose here. Like this is just a long game.
It
And
is.
week to week, you just got to go in and fix the pieces and put the puzzle together and just look at it objectively,
It sounds like my Mondays. You
Nice.
know?
Well, good, man. Hey, so I know you guys, I'm sure last year experienced, it seemed to me, my perception from the outside with COVID was two of the biggest trends I saw were implementing of membership plans and virtual consults.
Yeah.
And also a lot of marketing too. I mean, it benefited us a ton, and we were able to
Yeah.
provide solutions there. But tell me about last year and just kind of why that was such a critical point for people to begin implementing these.
Yeah, I think, well, this a simple answer would be the practice owner's cash flow was attacked. And I think it's been building up over time where these practice owners are sick and tired of working with insurance. And I would be too, if I had those types of contracts and bad partnerships, and I think it just kind of compounded over time. And then COVID hit, and then the regulations hit, and the restrictions and shutdowns hit. And I think it hit the soul of small practice owners and just businesses in general, which is you got to shut down, you got to limit what you can do. And as a practice owner, they could only do as much as, how many patients are coming in. It scared patients as well, to come in. And I think practice owners also had more time to get educated on business strategies, as what we noticed. But the pain point was, oh my, the shock of having their cash flow shut down basically,
Yeah.
and turning to membership programs. I mean, we had practices even in California where they have the most, it seems like, restrictions still to this day, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And we had practices in California that signed up and started selling their membership program during the shutdowns when they were out of the office, right? Selling it through email and text messaging and calling patients. And they were able to sign up like 300 patients in just a couple of months, which resulted in like, I think it was like $20,000 in monthly recurring revenue.
Mhm.
And I think that really saved them during that time, because they were able to sell things, especially in California. It seemed really restrictive in California, and they were able to generate cash flow and revenue to support their business. On the other hand, we had businesses or practices that have had established membership programs for several years now. They were generating $50,000-$60,000 plus a month in automatic recurring revenue. And they started telling people that that's the strategy they should be focusing on, because they were in a situation where they didn't have to get the PPP loans if they didn't need to or couldn't. They had their membership program managed, by Boom Cloud, so it was automated, and revenue was coming in even though they were shut down or had lower patient volume. And I think that realization that that could happen, and it hopefully doesn't happen again. I think that would be terrible and not the smartest thing, but that's my perspective, and I'm sure people would argue the other side, and I really not in the mood to argue. So I think, but I think on an economic standpoint that, yeah, it hurt the practices, and they saw they really saw the benefits of a membership program. And really, we know this because I'm guessing that you're a salesperson. You started your own company. You've got to know sales, and pain sells, right?
Yeah.
And dentists, this because you deal with patients that are in pain all the time. When a patient's in pain, they end up purchasing your services.
Yeah.
And I think really, when you boil down things in last year, that's what happened. The practices were in pain, and we had we were the doctors with the solution, right?
Yeah.
So
Everybody look at it.
that's essentially, if you boil it down, that's kind of why it worked that way,
Yeah.
in dentistry. And still, It's still the trends are still increasing patient, because now you got a problem with, we've been in the recession, right? There's been a lot of job loss. I don't know the current numbers. Last I looked, what was it, like at 7%? Do
Yeah.
you know the current unemployment
It's
rate?
something around this, right? I think it was like 23 million still, something like that.
Yeah. So another cool thing with membership programs is that they do cater to the uninsured. And before COVID, over half the United States didn't have dental insurance.
Right.
That's increased. So even though practices are doing better on a cash flow standpoint, patients still need a solution, because they've lost their dental benefits, and that's something they can't neglect, or it's going to cost them a lot of money over time, right? So that's a good market right now for practices looking to start membership programs. Patients have lost their dental insurance, and patients are even sick of dental insurance still,
Right.
because it's just complicated. So
Yeah.
anyways, I think that's why it worked. And there's a lot of benefits for a practice to start a membership program to help their patients and to
Yeah.
create a great revenue model.
Now, most because I've seen dental practices do this, implement a plan on their own, without using, a third party like you guys.
Sure.
Tell me the advantages to working with Boom Cloud or something similar versus just DIYing it yourself.
Yeah, DIY is great for testing and seeing if it works. If you truly want to scale it, systems help you scale. Um, as business owners, I think that's something that we've seen. If I have somebody doing a manual task, it's just not gonna scale. And a membership program should be looked at as a one-to-many approach, right? Where your team is signing up as many patients as possible, to join the membership program. uh, if a practice does it themselves and grow it, a lot of the times practices have, they've come to us and like, we have 100 patients on and we can't manage this anymore. Some of the problems they feel, let's say 100, 200, even at 50, patients, they're feeling some pain. Some of the pain that they're feeling is, membership payments aren't automated and they lapse. Nobody's really looking at it and managing it. And if you think about it, when you set up a membership program, it's an alternative to dental insurance. These insurance companies don't have binders and notebooks and even Excel docs saying, "Oh yeah, these patients are part of our premium plan," and things like that, and
Right.
tracking that way. They've got technology, right? And in order for this to scale and work, you got to have technology, and systems. So a lot of the problems that the do-it-yourselfers have is a lot of payments lapsing, forgetting benefits and giving extra benefits away for free often, as well as the office manager quits or gets fired or just doesn't want to do it anymore, and the system just kind of crumbles, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, or the office manager, let's make it more positive. The office manager goes to a sweet vacation to Hawaii, and it kind of crumbles while he or she is gone, and that's just not good business, or they don't know how it's working or functioning. And then I'd say those are the top three reasons practices come to us, and it's not centralized, right? When they're doing it themselves,
Yeah.
most likely. When they come to a company, when they come to Boom Cloud, they sign in, they get a dashboard, they see how much monthly recurring revenue is coming in, how much yearly recurring revenues coming in, how many patients have signed up in the past 30 days, how much revenue or renewals are coming in the next 30 to 90 days. They're able to see that. They can kind of see the future, right, of cash coming in when they
Yeah.
use our technology. We've got a credit card decline minimizer on our technology that we've got an integration with Visa, MasterCard, American Express. So when a card declines, it's on our technology, it's flagged as a subscription. So what happens if a card declines because it's expired, let's say, well, Visa will talk back to us and say, "Hey, it's expired. We're issuing a new card. Here it is." Boom, automatically updates in our system, right? So on a management's perspective, it saves the office managers a ton of time.
Yeah.
It's not like managing insurance. It's way better because there's a lot of automation. And instead of calling calling the insurance company and waiting on hold for 30 minutes to verify the benefits. uh, Office managers just log into our technology, type in the patient name, and see if they're active or not. Like, it's super simple, right? So it saves a ton of admin time. And then from a business owner perspective, it creates that recurring revenue, that passive income. If I'm a dentist, I can log into Boom Cloud and I can see the health of my membership program. And then we also have, our customer success team that helps grow. We have a call campaign team. All they're doing is helping practices call their uninsured patients, calling them and helping them sign up to a membership program for that specific practice. So they also, in addition to software, they get services to help them expand their membership program and get the word out, and all that fun stuff there. So they essentially get, software and a team internally here that helps them grow their membership program. So that's kind of the differences. Do it yourself is great. I recommend it if you're unsure about starting a membership program and want to test it. But if after you test it, it's time to scale. If you've seen some success, you're like, hey, we've got 10, 15, 20 patients signed up and we're seeing some demand here. Let's scale it now, right?
Yeah.
And that's when Boom Cloud comes in to help you scale it.
Yeah, I like that approach. We've had clients that do it both ways, and
Sure.
and typically I'm like, look, managing those recurring payments is just
Microtransactions, right? It's a headache.
I'm like 10 to 20 patients sign up. Okay. When you get like 100, 200, and then I've seen practices go, well, we're just going to do it like one fee at a time. We just charge them once a year. I'm like, well, but now most people like that monthly payment. Now we're getting them out of that subscription model. So,
well, and if they do the yearly payment, they make it automate it like Amazon Prime. Amazon's not calling you, Josh, be like, yo, dude, is that cool if we update your card on the Amazon Prime account today?
Right.
It's automated,
we're
right?
Run this again. You go with that?
Yeah. Make it a subscription. Make it evergreen.
Yeah.
The people that do that one time, hey, the patient comes in, pays it one time, and they get a year of benefits. That's great, but that's not a membership model. That's a cash discount program. And that's great and all, but if you want a solid business model, revenue model for the practice, you want a membership program and subscription revenue, because that's going to, number one, increase the value. It's going to increase the value of the practice on a valuations perspective.
Yeah.
And it's going to give you peace of mind. Once you build a good base of recurring revenue, you get $50,000, $60,000 coming in, and you're sleeping good at night. During September.
Yeah. I love what you just said there at the end, because I think when we look long term at practice valuations, it's everybody wants their practice like they know that range, but everybody kind of wants to be at the top of that or kind of get that plus valuation. But it's all those little things, man. I mean, for me, it's like the technology, is it updated? Like the brand equity in the community, like do you have name recognition? Is there equity that's been invested in? But like recurring revenue too. If an investor comes in or somebody wants to buy you out, or you're selling.
Absolutely.
A recurring revenue is huge for the value.
Yeah, you get it. You most likely will get a multiplier valuation instead of a discounted cash flow. Who wants a discounted cash flow valuation, right? The first word is discount. That's gross.
Well, hey man, I'm gonna kind of bring us in here, wrap this up. But I wanted to ask you. I know last year, obviously lots has been said about how challenging it was. But what was one of the high points for you last year? Like something you were most proud of yourself about, or just overall highlight of the year?
Yeah, business or personal?
Either. Surprise me.
I mean, so on a personal level, I had my third girl last year, right in the middle of COVID. So that was super fun. So I've got 3 little girls, and we've got a motorhome, because I guess that was the thing to do last year.
Apparently, yes.
And I absolutely love taking those girls out and showing them the mountains and all the cool things here in Utah. For me, on a personal level, that's been ideal. In fact, when we start getting closer to spring, I'm taking Fridays off, and that's all I'm doing. I'm going out in the RV with my girls and my wife, and we're just going to go explore Utah. So for me, that was the highlight on a personal standpoint. On a business standpoint, we were able to adapt our business model and improve our revenue model and create a really solid leadership. We had a leadership team, but I feel like last year it just got really solid, right? And I felt like it's a point of my business where I'm not the one making things happen solely anymore, right? It's actually a team effort, and I feel like that leadership team and our new revenue expansion model and some of the product. I bought some companies, some small SaaS companies last year that we're adding and to our portfolio, and have created some more products that we're going to be releasing here in the next few months.
Nice.
But I think that on a business standpoint was super fun and the highlight. So getting that solid leadership, I just feel like my leadership team somehow grew, and now it's like bigger than me, right? It's not Jordan Comstock running Boom Cloud anymore. It's a leadership team, and it rocks, right? I feel less pressure. I feel more alive than ever with that change. And then on the personal level, man, I just like going and exploring the mountains.
Things on like a EOS model.
Yeah, we use EOS. I highly recommend it for practices. Yep. Yeah. So we're definitely EOS company, and we've been for a couple of years now.
Cool.
And I think over the few years, it's a learning curve. We've learned it. We'll continue learning EOS, which stands for Entrepreneur Operating System for those listening. And I think it's a wonderful a management strategy that practices should totally implement as well.
Yeah.
And a good friend of ours, Genevieve Poppy, I think you work with her as well. She's the one that has introduced it. I mean, we've read the books and everything, but she's the one that we actually hire her and she holds us accountable. She's fantastic. Yeah. So for a plug for Genevieve Poppy for practice owners that want a good entrepreneur, just an operating system to manage their people. Go research Genevieve Poppy. She's amazing, and she's helped us a lot with that model. So
cool.
There you go.
Awesome, man. Last question. It's a Friday tonight. After a long work week, head home. What are you guys ordering for dinner? What are you doing to relax?
So there's a new restaurant that had popped up here in Utah, and I love new restaurants, especially when there's steak involved. There's a restaurant called Kitchen 88, and we'll probably order some of that and get the steak and mashed potato meal. And it's amazing. We actually got it yesterday for our leadership meeting, and my sales leader here, he's gotten it. I think he's had 6 or 7 meals the past few days straight from that restaurant. It's that good.
Good. Wow.
Yeah. So we're probably doing that, and we're gonna go on a date. I just don't know what we're doing. Last week we went sledding. That was fun. I haven't done something like that. We go up in Utah. There's the ski resorts, and then they've got like this big sledding hills, and they're like huge sledding hills. Like we did that last week. That was fun. So we'll probably do something fun this weekend on that. But yeah, that's what we do here.
Look, I appreciate you being on and taking an hour. For sure. If people want to connect with you online or Boom Cloud, what's the best place to go or best place to follow you?
If they want to connect with me personally, Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn a lot.
Okay.
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Of course, if you're interested in checking out Boom Cloud, go to boomcloudapps.com. You can schedule a demo, see if Boom Cloud is a fit for your office. We also have tons of free information and education on our website. We've got ebooks, we've got recorded webinars, we've got the Boom Cloud Ultimate Starter Guide. If you're just getting ready to start your membership program, it comes with a ton of resources, from ebooks to webinar courses to podcasts about membership programs, and even like scripts and things like that you can easily download for free and get access to all that. But I just encourage everyone to go to boomcloudapps.com and get that free information or schedule a demo to learn how Boom Cloud can help your practice succeed in 2021. And just reach out to me on Facebook or LinkedIn, and we'll have a party.
Awesome. Well, I love what you guys do. And anytime it comes up with one of our clients implementing that, I'm quick to just point them over to you guys. So I appreciate you.
We appreciate that, man. You rock.
Yeah. All right, bro. Well, hey, look, have a great weekend. Thanks for jumping on. I'm sure I'll see you out there sometime. I'm going to do the Utah Dental Tech Tour at some point.
Yeah, come on down. I'll come in my RV. That will be the bus. That will be the tour bus.
I'm just gonna 3 days. I'm just gonna visit all of you guys.
Yeah, that's it.
Down the street. So
you're welcome anytime.
all right, bro. Well, enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch up soon, I'm sure.
All right, rock on, man.
All right, see you.